Hello everyone, welcome to Friday's video. Congratulations, you've made it almost through an entire first week of the 6-week summer course, so bear with me and you get a break soon. Alright, what we're going to talk about in this video, and there is only one video for today, because I know you're all busy working on your annotated bibs, we're going to talk about how to submit the annotated bibliography. We're going to talk about sources. I'm going to give you the answers to page 78, or show you where you can go to get those answers from Thursday's homework. I'm going to talk about homework for Monday. Yes, the work never stops, but the bulk of the video will be about Concision, as you can see here. So how to submit your annotated bib on eCampus. We'll start there. This is typically in the student view, but I had to go to the instructor view today because I have not opened the submission portal yet. However, it will be the same process. So go to coursework, go to papers, annotated bib, and then this is the submission portal. So by Friday, of course, 11:59 p.m., you'll submit your final for now annotated bibliography, and this opens way early Friday morning, so keep that in mind. You can submit it any time on Friday, as long as it's in, so I can start giving you feedback Saturday and Sunday. All right, so again, here's the due date, points possible. This points possible is not like the discussion post. This just basically means I received your annotated bib. The grading, you'll receive a midterm grade and a final grade, like English 101 and like the syllabus talks about. So don't worry about those points possible for now. You'll receive feedback right now. So browse my computer, and then you click on your file, you attach it, and you hit submit. And I'm asking that you submit them in these file formats, .doc or .docx, not PDF or Pages. PDF, I can't go in and make changes, and Pages my PC can't even read, okay? So if you have questions about the submission portal, please let me know, and don't let it be late, because like I said, Saturday morning, bright and early, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start giving you guys feedback. Okay, another note about the annotated bib is make sure when you are looking up these sources, I know I said to, at the bare minimum, read the abstract, introduction, and conclusion of articles, but you must have access to the full article. So it's been a little bit of an issue. Make sure you're not just pulling up abstracts or even call for papers, because this will not provide enough research or information about the article itself for you to include in your qualitative research paper. So I will scan through your annotated bibs to make sure that you have full access. And if that is an issue, let me know. I'm working with a student right now to try to get full access to an article. Some things the library doesn't purchase, and I don't want you guys buying any articles. So I would just recommend, in that case, using a different article. Let me know if you have questions about that, though. All right, the answers to discussion 5 are going to be posted under discussion 5. So you can go to this and compare basically what you submitted from Jack to the answer guide itself. And if, again, you have questions, please shoot me an email. You guys are doing a good job of that. All right, let's look at homework for Monday, and then we'll get into our lesson. So for Monday, your homework is to read these 3 pages in Jack, read at least one proposal, and then discussion 6 is due. So your homework is actually going to be pretty easy for the weekend. The one proposal is a maximum of 300 words, and you can find them, again, if you go to coursework, papers, proposal. I have everything already unlocked for you all, and then proposal samples. So you'll read one of these. Don't worry about that PowerPoint. I'm going to use it in Monday's instruction. So just download one of these samples, read it. Again, they're about 300 words maximum. And then the discussion, I haven't created it yet, but it's basically going to be like, how are you doing in the class so far? So that one's going to be pretty easy, because the first week you guys had 5 and you've been working really hard. Okay, so let's talk about, just one second, the writing studio, and then we will get to the actual lesson. Sorry, there are a lot of little pieces to cover typically before we begin. All right, so you guys are in online section, obviously. So it's not convenient for you to actually go to the writing studio. I'm actually the assistant director of the writing studio. However, Natalie Corcoran, who is the director of the writing studio, if you want additional feedback in addition to your peer reviews and what you're getting from me, then not only can you email me again and I will provide more feedback. However, if you want extra eyes on it or different eyes, then you can email Natalie Corcoran, Dr. Corcoran, at this address and just politely request a tutor to look over your paper. It will not be me. There's some weird contract deal or like a typical contract deal where I don't look at your paper as a tutor, only as your instructor. So we would assign just a different tutor or consultant to look at your paper. Okay, so just letting you know all the resources on campus to get the maximum amount of tutoring and help. All right, the thing that we'll jump into now is Concision. In your JAC, I ask that you read page 18, remember, for Friday, and that had a little bit of information not only about the writing studio, which I just mentioned, but about wordiness and concision, which are the same things. So Easy Writer is the book that I did not have you buy for this class. It has a lot of really great tools for concision. There are 2 pages here, but I created this document for us to go through in this video quickly, and I will put this again online on eCampus. But I wanted to just make a couple of things clear. This document is a combination of Easy Writer, like I mentioned, and things that I've noticed throughout my years of teaching. All right, so we're just going to go through these, and what I would love for you guys to do in your papers is at the very start of the semester, I expect to see most of this. It's pretty clear that students will not put in the extra time to delete wordiness from their papers. However, by the final portfolio, I'm looking for these things to make sure that you have learned, not only citations and research and genres of the papers, technology use, etc., but I'm looking for even things like this. So again, if we talk about it in the video, it's fair game to want to see that in the final portfolio. All right, so the first point is limit your use of that. A couple of things, and this is especially important for the annotated bibliography because you are referencing sources directly. Reference the source by the author's name, so don't just say the author, and don't say necessarily the article or the study. It's best to reference by the author's name. So you might have like Jones stated that. Just take out the that. Jones stated. It makes your writing sound more confident. Most of this concision, it makes you sound like you didn't write it at, 10:30 p.m. the day it's due, which of course none of you did. Anyway, the second example here, she proposed that plan that he wanted could. So it's a mess here, and I read sentences like this all of the time. And really, a thing that I do an activity I do in my face-to-face classes is I actually highlight in different colors the word that, or like that is all one color. It's all that's are yellow, and then like prepositions are blue or whatever. And it's a nice visual representation for students. So I would recommend perhaps during finals week or even midterm week, I would recommend that you guys start highlighting or even just noticing what you typically do with your writing. Are you wordy? Which of these bullet points are you most, or do you do the most in your writing? Okay, and it will help you be a better writer, not only in this class but in other classes as well, because it all goes back to ethos and how confident and comfortable and credible you sound. So the second point is define it and that. If you're going to use the word that, it is normally not a good thing to use it as a preposition or as a place marker for something else. So this really disgusting sentence that I came up with is, it is necessary that it increases to that degree. So I'm assuming in this, and I see a lot of science writing that sounds like this, and which is just confusing. So I'm assuming there's a sentence that came before this sentence which helps define a lot of these terms. However, a lot of the time, these pronouns don't link back to anything. So especially like it is necessary, that's just a phrase, and we'll talk about ways not to have that as a phrase in your writing. So I just put a question mark here. I pretty much abandoned this sentence, and I would just cut it in a paper because it's not doing anything for the writer or for the reader. Limit the use of prepositions. So as I mentioned probably in the first video, I'm working on a novel, and for my MFA program here, for my third master's, with the preposition use, this is a huge thing, even in creative writing. So it's kind of spans the gamut from professional writing, scientific writing, all the way up to the left side of the humanities. So for example, due to the fact of the matter of, I can't really even, I see a bunch of clusters of tiny words, and I immediately start to abandon it. So just use the word because. That's much simpler. I know a lot of classes stress word counts, and that's why the proposal is only a maximum of 300 words. That's why I only want you guys to do 6 sentences for each annotation. You only do 5 annotations. Some instructors require students do 15 annotations with 12 sentences each. This is a true story. I actually worked with a student athlete last semester who went through that struggle with his 102 instructor. That's way too much. I want you guys to write meaningful, educated sentences and not this junk. All right, the other example is we ended up at Mally's house all the way, or way over there. We arrived at Mally's house. So it's just clean, streamlined, not confusing. All right, limit wordy phrases. These speak for themselves, so I'm not going to go through them all, but this might be a nice little cheat sheet to have next to you during finals week. The thing that I see most is this one. Nowadays, or in today's society, just now, today. Like, we don't need all the extra words. Limit use of empty words. The empty words can include area, kind, situation, thing, differently, major, really, very, unique, aspect, interesting. The list goes on. I see the word thing, really, very, and interesting a lot. And I think interesting can work and unique can work. However, these are more words that students use when they don't know what to say. So instead of taking the time to delve into the topic more so, they just put a placeholder word. It's a filler word. So the housing situation can have a really significant impact on the social aspect of a student's life. This is not a terrible sentence like we've seen in above. However, it can be made better, or we can make it better. Housing can strongly influence a student's social life. Something like that. And this might be a topic sentence, so this even is an obvious sentence, and I might even cut that and say, you know, like, how so? But again, that's not for this video. That's for like a topic sentences video later. Avoid repetitiveness. Okay, so a lot of times when students don't understand the topic or they are really straining to get that word count, they just repeat and repeat and repeat. It's like I read the same paper 4 times. A way to avoid that is to know what you're talking about, to be comfortable with what you're talking about. Try to challenge yourself to think, how is this sentence or even this paragraph different from what I've just presented? How am I not going to bore my readers? So I've provided 3 examples here. This is mostly with specific wording, but think about repetitiveness in your sentence structures as well, and your paragraphs too. And a lot of the time, avoiding repetitiveness just comes from having an outline. I'm really, really a fan of the outline. All right, so we're almost out of time. I won't be able to get through all of this, but they're pretty self-explanatory. I tried to make them as simple as possible. With verbs, limit your use of the be verb. I see the first 2 a lot. It's seeming to me that. It is, or it seems. In her article, Jones is saying that. Jones argues. Just slim it down. We'll talk about active voice and passive voice throughout the term, and then expletives are just words there is, there are, it is. So these are things that I provided 2 examples here to help you transition out of using there are many just into many, something simple. All right, guys, so that's it for this week. Good job with all of the work that you've been doing. Keep it up, and please, again, always email me if you have questions.